I didn't think we bowled badly, to be honest. I thought it was one of those wickets where you're not 100% sure what the average, what the score should be. And if you look at how they played it, we seemed to be 10, 15 runs short. But I didn't think we bowled badly. I thought overall we executed the plans we wanted to execute. They played some really good shots. And overall, I don't think we'll be too unhappy with our performance. I just think there's small margins in the game where we that didn't go our way today, and that's how we ended up losing. No, no. The first couple of balls I felt was really difficult on this pitch. It's like there was a little bit more bounce, a little bit of turn, every now and then one stopped. So I didn't find it easy, my first 20 balls or so. But I think what helped me at that stage was getting myself in and giving myself a chance to kind of assess the wicket. And overall, I had one over where things kind of went my way, and that changed the momentum a bit. But yeah, I didn't feel fluent. Yeah, I think the first 3 games we played as a team, we all played really well. I think Classy was outstanding in our games here. He puts in match-winning performances at the moment once every second game. So I think the key going forward is how we're going to win those small margins again and get them in our favour, not have a cluster of wickets or have a couple of overs where we go for 15 plus in a row. So yeah, overall that's what I would say we're gonna try and improve on. If I knew that answer, I would have done it a long time ago. But I think I worked really hard on my game over the last since I've started playing professional cricket, I guess. But over the last 2 years, I've tried to really understand where my good areas are, where my strengths are. We don't play a lot of cricket in South Africa, but I've played quite a bit of cricket in England. We have had time to kind of figure out my game. So, yeah, to answer your question, how I'm going to keep doing that, I'm just going to try and keep it simple, focus on my processes. I think it's nice to get a score in this comp at the halfway stage. I've only batted 3 times. So hopefully I can carry on with that form. And it was incredible being there with Dwayne at the end. Somebody that's been with me since the start of my career, and he kept me really calm, which helped me a lot in that innings.
I think there's obviously a bit of a change in crew. Our first game was rained out. I think everybody was desperate to get on the field for that first game, and so I think it's taken us a while to sort of gel and get together and start to identify how we want to go about our business. It didn't then help losing at home in our first sort of game that we got out there. So yeah, I think it's just the confidence of the players growing when you start to get wins on the board. A guy like Stubbsy today, getting runs, Marco as well. I think all of that then contributes to the next time those guys go out and bat, to their confidence and believing that they can do it. If you look at Otniel Bartman the other night against Mumbai Cape Town, doing the business for us in the last over, the amount of confidence that he gained from that to then come into today's match and know that, firstly, to believe that he can do it and to be able to execute again. I think just trying to learn from our mistakes. I think in that game, I was probably the culprit of that loss. I think when one of your bowlers are going for 53 in 3 overs, you're doing incredibly well to bring it back from that. I think they only should have got probably 190. They ended up getting 220, and I think if you look at the way that I bowled, it was a big part of that. So I took that on the chin. I think we batted incredibly well in that game to keep it as close as it was. But I don't think the team did too much wrong. So yeah, it was obviously not an ideal result, but we managed to turn it around. I think if you can at least beat a team after losing to them, it goes a long way in the tournament. Yeah, I expect high standards of myself. I'm an incredibly competitive person, and to sit in the change room and know that I let my team down was probably what hurt the most. So there was no shortage of motivation and wanting to do well today. Unfortunately, T20 cricket doesn't always work out like that. Luckily for me, today it did. I managed to learn from the mistakes that I made in that St. George's game and try and implement those changes here today, which worked. So, we could, on Monday, face a completely different challenge, and you need to adjust to that. So, there wasn't any shortage of motivation, that's for sure. I think the biggest thing for the South African players is it's now created a platform where our players can get selected into the IPL from. because it's IPL owned, the owners start to understand our players, whereas before I feel like our players did well and moved into a T20 tournament elsewhere around the world to then get recognition to play in the IPL, where I think it's sort of narrowed that gap. There's no stepping stone needed now, that players can do well and then get picked up in the IPL. So I think from a player's perspective, that's probably been one of the biggest things for us. Yeah, I thought he thoroughly deserved the Man of the Match award. I think he took us home. It's so important when a batter gets to 30 or 40 to be sort of 60 not out exactly like he did. He's got a very mature head on his shoulders for such a young guy. As you saw today, he showcased his clean striking ability, and ultimately that's why guys like him get paid the big bucks, is because they can get performances on the board when the team really needs it. And I think today, after we lost Aiden, we needed Stubbo to put up his hand, and he did that in emphatic fashion. Well, obviously we lost the toss, so we weren't exactly sure how the pitch was going to play. I think we would have batted first as well. I'm not sure if it was a bowler's paradise, but I think there were sort of things that we took. There was a little bit of turn. We wanted to try and be sort of short of a length. As soon as it was fuller, it was easier for those batters to score. But I mean, the Durban side has some extremely talented players and good players that have done it around the world. So I think you can never really take your foot off the gas, and it showed that they scored, I think it was 57 runs in the last 5 overs on a wicket that was probably perceived to be a little bit slow. So you can never sort of touch the money, so to speak, and even in that chase at the end, we knew that we were going to have to bat well in order to get across the line. Look, as a bowler, you're never going to get it right 10 out of 10 times. It's the nature of T20 cricket. You can bowl well and still go for runs. So I don't think there was too much disappointment after. I think if we had been given 160 at the start, we probably would have taken that. So I think you're always going to leak runs somewhere, whether it's in the power play, the middle, or towards the end. Very difficult to play a perfect game and be good in all those areas. But I think the fact that there were no extras in this game, I can't think of any T20 games that I've played in where there's been 0 extras. So I thought it was a hell of a disciplined effort from the bowlers.